So this is where we're actually going to utilize our second timer. So the first timer is being used for the actual movement cycle. And the second timer will be used for the behavior cycle, for checking how often we want to check for a behavior modification. So I'm going to say update NPCs, and I'm going to say timer move to. I'm going to start incrementing that one the same as we did the other one. Excuse me. I'm going to take this global timer here, put her down there, and by default I'm going to check to see whether we want to move probably once every 1000 milliseconds or 1 second essentially. So I'm going to say if timer move to is greater than 1000 and is moving equals false. I don't want it to check for you know, a behavior routine, you know. Sorry. I don't want it to adjust its behavior before its move cycles are complete. I don't want it to try moving up when it's only halfway through, you know, a left-right move cycle. So I wait until the NPC is no longer moving and then say, okay, he's not doing anything, so let's go ahead and, you know, adjust his behavior. So in this case, what I'm going to do for the behavior, assuming both of these are true, then I'll say if is moving equals false, which is probably a little bit redundant since we already checked that, then go ahead and move the NPC referencing the screen as we have to from our move NPC sub, and in a direction. Now remember, we for the direction we set a number between 1 and 4. So what I'm going to do is call my random number, and I'm going to say random.next. I'm going to grab the next value from 1 to 5. And if you recall, when we use random numbers, you always shoot for the max number, you shoot 1 above what you want it to actually be for the max. In this case, 1, 5 will be a random number from 1 to 4. Okay, I don't know why, but 5 is not counted for some reason. So essentially, we are going to pipe into our move NPC sub from up above a random value from 1 to 4, and that will be interpreted as a move direction. So essentially we're just selecting a random move direction here, and then we're going to say is moving equals true. Okay, and I'm going to adjust this in a little bit here to make it even more random and sporadic in their movement. I want them to really be, you know, kind of mixed up, so they're much less predictable. In this case, they're all going to have the same exact, you know, every NPC that we add is going to have the same exact random numbers generated for them, because when we go to add them to our base screen, as I'll show you in a little bit here, the method that we use to add these manually, the code is processing so fast that the random number doesn't have enough time, since it's based on the time. Random numbers in programming are generally based upon the computer clock or game time or whatever clock it. I think that it's based on the system clock. So it uses the system time as a seed, and if it's actually updating or cycling through the code faster than the milliseconds can even elapse, then it can't grab a new seed. So they all end up with the same random number value. It's kind of hard to explain, but it'll make sense. But we have a workaround for that that I'll implement here in a little bit to randomize things a bit more. So once we've processed this, behavior, we're gonna go ahead and reset our timer to 0, so it starts incrementing again for the next cycle. Okay, so after 1000 milliseconds, if the NPC has not moved, then check and again make sure he's not moving. I could probably just get rid of that, but I'm going to end up using this if statement with my randomizer, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that in there for right now. But we'll move the NPC in a random direction, and that starts this cycle going, because once it's set to is moving true, then this becomes true, and it gets locked in this little update loop here until he completes his move cycle. In which case it will bypass this timer, because if it is moving, the behavior will not update again. So it kind of bounces back and forth between these two little subroutines. So that's really all there is. We have completed the NPC class here. Now we just need to put it into action and test it out by adding an instance of our NPC class to the world screen. So let's see. Well, we're also going to have to add this. We're going to have to add an entity list to our map base. Let's see, where do I want to go first here? Probably the map base. That's going to be a small update at this moment. Let's go ahead and find our map base in our Solution Explorer here. I think I have that under my world folder over here. So we have a tile list. Now a map becomes a little more, a little more lively. We're going to put some more goodies in here. So I'm going to create a new list. I'm going to say NPCs as new list of NPC. So we're going to create a list of instances of our NPC class, so we can add multiple NPCs of any type to our map. Now again, we're going to be ending up adding these manually here, not the way that we want to, but the only way we're going to be able to implement this without a map editor that can create these NPCs and populate our map file that we save and load from before with those NPCs. So I have some work to do on that front. I have been working on my map editor, but it is a lot of work, and I have to juggle that with my day job. So we'll add some NPCs here to this list in just a little bit. Still have some things we need to set in our world screen first. Okay. So mainly we're going to have to update the update sub and add a section to update our NPC list as it exists in our map base. And also we need a routine to draw our NPCs to the world screen. So I think that we will start with our update sub. And what we'll do is we will cycle through our list and just run for each NPC that exists in that list, process this update sub. Excuse me. So I'm going to come down to the bottom of our update sub here for the world screen. And I'm going to create a little subsection. I'm just going to say update NPCs. And I'm going to say if it's focused, because I don't want the, if our world screen is not visible or is not presently active, I don't want to continue updating the NPCs. That'd be really annoying if you're like trying to talk to one and you bring up a dialog box and they just keep wandering around while you're talking to them. So it's nice to check whether the screen is focused. In this case, I'm going to say if focused equals true, then we cycle through our list of NPCs. So I'm going to say for each entity in, I'm going to call that as NPC, so we have access to all of its properties, in map.npcs. Remember, map is an instance of our map base. So whatever we set in here is what we have access to. In this case, we have access to this public list of NPCs, so we can look at those through the actual live map that's running in the world screen. So, all right. For each entity that exists in that list of NPCs, I'm going to say entity.update. And remember, when we set up the update sub in our NPC class, we had to reference the screen. And the screen that we want to reference just happens to be the world screen, so I'm just going to pass me to that. Me is a direct reference to our world screen class that we're programming in here. So that's all there is to it. Very simple. Just flash through this list of NPCs, run their update subs, and carry on.